So you may have been wondering, hey, how does that Wakanda Alliance guy feel about the Black Panther Wakanda Forever film? I have seen this movie 3 times so far. 3. And I've got maybe 3 different opinions about it, alright? As a movie, a beautifully done movie. Fantastic actors, fantastic scenery, fantastic style, fantastic clothing design, fantastic drama. I think all those things came together well. Like, part of me gives this movie a 9.5. And then as a Black Panther fan, a Wakanda fan, 7.5. Alright, hear me out. It's great that the movie was able to really pull out the emotions and really be an emotionally charged superhero movie. One that can do something that a Batman movie can't, or that a Superman or Spider-Man movie can't. Like, it just, because of the subject matter happening inside the movie and outside the movie, those 2 things gave them an opportunity to do something amazing, which I think was done very well. But at the core of my being, that really wants Wakanda to be the top dog when it comes to superhero films, knowing that Wakanda is the top dog when it comes to comics and superhero lore. I really can't really enjoy the movie to the fullest because they didn't come through for Wakanda the right way. One, I don't think Wakanda should be taking L's like that. How does a region that's had millennia to develop their technology and their combat experience, people who really are warrior culture, who have been in multiple wars while they were still expanding and learning and growing, how do they lose to an underwater kingdom that's only 500 years old? I don't know how many wars Talokan has been through, but I don't think they're as developed as Wakanda. I just don't. Like, it doesn't make sense logically. Not to say that, a region that has to have millennia of development in order to be great, in order to be powerful. I'm just saying logically, when it comes to combat logic, even though they can regrow, they can rejuvenate, regenerate, I still think the Wakandans could have found a way to combat that. Alright, they had a week to prepare. A week for prep time is like a year for prep time for any other superhero. So I think the same way they could have weakened Namor, they could have weakened the other Talokan army. Plus, they had this giant ship that had one sonic emitter on the bottom. Everybody who was defending the ship was at the top. So you have this massive difference of things. Like, the thing on the bottom protecting you. Why are you at the top? Why isn't there somebody who has something at the bottom to, like, protect the one thing that's keeping this other army at bay? It just didn't make sense. The other 3 acts of the movie made sense. The final act did not make sense to me. Alright? Wakanda, to me, should have a better idea of how to fight different opponents. That's what makes them Wakandas, that they're able to adapt well. Them being flooded, them like getting, their butts whooped at home, that was one thing. But for them to go into enemy territory and not be fully prepared did not feel like Black Panther content to me. Shuri as a Black Panther, cool. I dig that. I think she could have had a few more gadgets to really stick it to, the enemy, because, I mean, Namor got captured and she's on the phone. She's on the phone while Namor is sitting there sweating. I think she should have just pounced on him right then and there. The man still had his spear. Right? How would she think that he's not a threat to the ship? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. I mean, if I'm putting the 7.5 and the 9.5 together, it's gotta be an 8. And that's a really good 8. Like, there aren't a lot of other Marvel movies that get an 8 or above for me. And I might push it to an 8.5 because I really enjoyed it from one side of my heart, but the other side is just like, yo, this is kind of wrong. M'Baku, everybody else, Queen Ramonda, fantastic. But I still think that they could have done a great job without taking away Queen Ramonda. I think that they could have done a great job without taking Queen Ramonda. And I get that they might try to do a thing where she becomes a spirit guide from the other side, and maybe she's going to guide them back to T'Challa. Maybe she's going to guide a T'Challa from a different universe over into the main Marvel universe. That's very possible. That I could see them doing. But I do not think they should take Queen Ramonda forever. That is That's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous because one, the way Wakanda has a concept of afterlife that no other Marvel entity really has. When you pass away, you're still living. You're still existing as a character, just on a different plane. And I know that's kind of typical for comics, but as far as cinematic movies go, Wakanda is the only time that someone has gone over to the other side of existence to talk to somebody who, to have a connection with. And again, I'm not saying that Queen Ramona can just magically come back to life. I'm just saying her as a character can still be present and still lead people who are in the afterlife, or maybe guide whoever becomes the next Black Panther, whether it's Shuri or somebody else. Maybe she can guide other Black Panthers to her, and maybe you can kind of expand that whole idea of the afterlife. But I still think they could have done that without taking Queen Ramona. They could have found another character. They could have brought in a new character who could be the spirit guide. But it is what it is. Baby T'Challa, little Prince Toussaint. Yeah, I just feel like that was just an easy band-aid to put over to put over the massive wound they've caused. The same thing with Queen Ramonda. I feel like there's a way to do it. It's just if they do it right. And I don't know which way is the right way with this idea. I just don't. I don't know if they're going to age him up in the next 1 or 2 movies, if they're going to skip another Black Panther movie and just have Shuri as a Black Panther for the next film. I don't know. And I don't know if that's going to come after this next phase, which is like years from now, or if they're going to bring in another T'Challa to kind of be a surrogate father to this younger T'Challa, which I think is a stronger idea than just waiting for him to grow up, or bringing in somebody who's a young teen, or just like a younger, not too old of a version of him. All right, that's where I feel like that middle ground is. If they bring in, someone who could be a father to this young boy, I think that'd be great. I don't know what it is with Disney and taking away parents, but I feel like showing a strong family unit works a lot better, because again, there aren't any strong Black families in Marvel. There's barely any strong families in the MCU period. Besides like Hawkeye and his kids, there's not really too many. And I think this is an opportunity for Marvel to really zone in on that and really like show it. I mean, there's not a lot of Black love period in the MCU, and we need more of that. And I think a great way to show it is a new T'Challa coming in with Nakia and raising up little Toussaint. Now, some people are thinking, well, where does that leave Storm, right? And I mean, I'll take a T'Challa and Nakia relationship dynamic, because if it's anything like the comics, T'Challa and Storm are eventually going to split. The drama in me, could see T'Challa and Nakia splitting up, and then him going for Storm, and then maybe that's what turns Nakia into Malice, because now you got to deal with little Toussaint has to deal with, oh snap, my mom is now a supervillain. How do you, I think that is interesting storytelling right there. But again, there's 2 ways to do that. But again, I feel like Marvel could really tap into that one vein of helping a new T'Challa raise up this young little Toussaint. So those are my thoughts on the Black Panther film. I hope you enjoyed this little 10-minute snippet of my ideas. Please go support the podcast. We just dropped a new Galactic Tribe podcast. Please go check that out on all streaming platforms. If you don't find it, let me know. We'll put it up there. We also going to have a visual on YouTube, so if you want to see our facial reactions, check out the YouTube as well. I mean, listen, at heart, I'm still a Wakanda fan. I'm still a Black Panther fan. And I'ma still scream Wakanda forever. All right. See y'all soon. Peace.